Welcome back, programmers! Can you tell the difference between this game
Delicious.
and that game? Yes, music and sound. Yes, if you forget graphics, animation, gameplay, popularity, all this. So music and sound, yes. A game is always better with music and sound effects. It makes it more fun to play. So today in this video I will add music and sound effects to the snake. Also, I think that the game is a little bit too easy to play at the beginning, and it takes a long time for the snake to grow, so it's not very fun to play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the gaming area so that it's more exciting and more fun to play right at the beginning, and also that will give us a lot of space around the area, some real estate to display other information, maybe the score or some shortcuts or just some decor. We'll see, we'll do that in a later video. So today, reducing the playing area and adding some music and sound effects. Let's go. Okay, so we are back in the code. What I want to do first is change the size of the gaming area, the playing area. Really, I don't want it to be full screen. Look at that, now it's full screen. I want it to be limited to a square in the middle of the screen, like this. So to do that, I will need some more constants. So I need the board, I'm gonna call it the board, and I need the board width, the board height, and the X and Y at which it starts. So let's do that. I will copy paste some code to be faster. So something like that. Board width, board height, board X, board Y, and also the border width of my board. I will draw a 5 pixel wide border around my board. Also, what I need to change is some colors. What I'm going to do is, look at that, I'm going to have the background color to be dark, not dark, I mean black. Okay, then the tiles will be a checkerboard pattern between dark blue and less dark blue. Okay, so these two colors, and finally the border color, just to add some contrast, I want it to be orange. Okay, so this color. Okay, now we have our constants. What we need to do is we need to draw, okay, this board. So let's draw it. So to draw the board, I'm going to copy this code here. So let's switch here. So I'm back in here in, remember, the main procedure. In the main procedure, what I do is I create the sprites. So I'm creating the sprite snake, which is the white square. I'm creating the sprite apple, which is the red circle. And I was creating the sprite for the background tile. I will replace this by the code to create the whole. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create the whole image. So the sprite is going to be the full background of the game. So the board, the border, and also the area around. So this will look like this. And I realized that I forgot something in the enumerations. It's not BG tile anymore. It's sprite BG for background. We are creating the whole background. So back to the code here. I'm creating the sprite BG, screen width, screen height. Of course, it will take the whole screen. I'm starting to draw. Then what do? I'm creating a box from 0, 0 to screen width, screen height of BG color, which is black. So I'm covering the whole surface with black. Then what I do is I'm drawing here. I'm drawing the border. To draw the border, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an orange square a little bit wider and higher than the actual board. And so what we are going to see after is just the border. So first, the width and height will be board width plus 2 times border width, okay, the size of my board plus twice the border, okay, 1 on each side. Same for the height of the board plus twice the border height or the border width. And that I'm going to create a box, orange box, so with border color. And where do I put my X and Y of this border? Well, at board X minus the border width, board Y minus the border width. And I will draw this orange board. Then I'm doing a double loop to draw the squares, okay? I need to alternate colors. Every line must start with a different tone, okay? If the first line start with dark, the second line will start with light, and the third line with dark, etc., etc. And then in the line, I need to alternate also colors. Dark light, dark light, dark light. So I have these two variables that are booleans, basically, and I will alternate if this, when I'm drawing the line, if it was dark, I'm drawing a dark square. If it was light, if it was not dark, so light, I'm drawing a light square. And each square, I'm just inverting the dark. So I'm doing true, false, true, false, true, false. So that's making the light, dark, dark, etc. The alternation. And same for the rows, for the lines. I'm also alternating here. The dark Y is actually alternating from true to false, etc. And every start of line, I'm initializing my dark X with my dark Y. So this is the code for drawing the whole background, the whole sprite for the background. Okay, now we need to display it, of course. So we go back to what was the new Apple? No, his name, no. Where is my draw background? It's right here. Here, nothing more than just replacing all this by display sprite, and I'm displaying the sprite background at 0, 0, and this will do the trick. Let's have a look at the game. Does it work? Yes, look at that, very nice. Of course, you see the snake is not taking that any account of the actual borders, but this works. See, dark, well, black, and then the border orange, and my board, my playing area that is much smaller. That's gonna be fun. Okay, now that we have our playing area, we need to make the adaptation so that the snake and the apple and all those things stay inside this playing area. So, new apple, I'm going to start just in that order. New apple, instead of using screen width, screen height, I'm going to choose a random position within the limits, the bounds of my playing area, just like this. I want my X and Y, so X needs to be board X, so something starting at the X of the left side of the board, plus random of board width divided by square size minus 1 times square size, and that will give me a number that is a multiple of square size between 0 and board width minus square size. And because I'm adding that to board X, this will give me a position exactly within the left and right bounds of my board, and same thing for the Y, between the top and bottom bounds of my board. So that way we have an apple that will appear always on the board. We can try that again. See, the apple is on the board. The apple is on the board once again. This one too. This one too. Oops.
The snake is not, and that does work. Well, at least that seems to work. I've got all my apples. Ooh. Wow, I cannot get this one. Yep, in the board. Now the snake. No change here, but the is alive. This is the method, the procedure that will change. Is alive, of course, not the same. It's not anymore screen width and 0, screen height and 0. It's this. I'm checking if the position of the snake is greater than board X plus board width or less than. Basically, the X of the snake must be between board X and board X plus board width, and the Y of the snake must be between board Y and board Y plus board height, and that will give me the position of the snake. Let's try this, and look, if I boom, I die, at the bottom I die, and on the left side I die. And that is it for changing the playing area. Okay, let's check that again. Look at that. Up, we have a nice playing area. The microphone is hiding the apple. Oops. Oop. Oh, I'm dead. Okay. Much more difficult, right? Much more difficult. That's first thing I wanted to do, changing the playing area. Now I want to make it fun. I want to add music and sound. So I have found on the internet somewhere one music, something fun, and 3 sounds. So I want to use a sound for when the snake eats an apple. I want to have a sound when the snake turns, like a swoosh. So the apple will be a crunch. The turn will be some like this, like a martial art fight. And I want to have a sound for when the snake dies, some sort of crashing sound when you die. So I have those sounds. I had to convert them to OGG. You need to use OGG for file format for the sound. I will put the link in the description. I have found an online converter, file converter. So you put whatever MP3 or WAV or whatever file you have for the sound, and it converts online in OGG format. So very easy. So the sound. First, I need to use the OGG sound decoder. Of course, just like the images, for loading sounds and music, you need to load a specific OGG decoder. That's done. Then you also need to initialize the sound system. Yes. That's done. Init sound. Also, I want to have some constant for my sounds. So as I said here, creating an enumeration sound, music, apple, turn, and crash. That will be my 4 sounds. Okay. Now I need to load the sounds. Yes. So loading the sounds, very easy. You just call the procedure load sound. I will put that in the main. Where is it exactly? Just before the init here. I'm putting here load sound. What do I do? Load sound, sound music. So all the ID and the file name. I've put all my files. If I open, I can show you here. See apple.ogg, crash, music, turn at the same in the same directory as my PB files. So I'm loading here all my sounds, and then I just need to play them. Okay, I just need to play them. So let's do that. very easy. So we're going to start with the music. Just, I think it's easier. Well, not easier, but so it's in the init. I want to start playing it. The init basically is called when the game starts. So when the game starts, here I want to play the music. So I'm calling the play sound command. You tell the play sound which music. So I want to play the sound music. And here you have some options, some flags. So let's have a look at the documentation here. Flags, it can be sound loop and or sound multi-channel. Sound loop plays the sound continuously. Okay, it starts again over and over. If it reaches the end of the sound, it starts again. Okay, it just loops. And multi-channel play the sound in a new channel instead of stopping the previously played sound. So if you want to play some sounds over, let's say you turn, it's going to play a swoosh, and then you turn again right after, it's going to play another swoosh. If you want the two swooshes to overlap, and that's what you want to do because the two swooshes will overlap, you need to use the multi-channel. Otherwise, when you do your first turn, you're going to start playing the swoosh, but on just the next turn, the first swoosh will stop and you're going to play the second one. So that's not going to sound very, very nice. So you need to use the multi-channel for this case. And you also can choose the volume at which you play the sound. Okay, 0, no sound, 100, full volume. Okay, so here I'm using music volume and I forgot to initialize this. Okay, let's fix that. Here I have two global variables that I've put. Where did I put them? Right here. Okay. Global sound effects volume and global music volume. I'm initializing them to 100 full volume. Okay. So that's what I'm playing. That's the volume at which I'm playing my music. And that's it. At least for the music. Let's try. I hope you're hearing the music, but I have some music on my game, and already the game is much more fun because the music is really joyful. See, it's very much more fun to play when you have a very nice music like this. Okay. And now we need to add the sound effects, and that's going to be exactly the same. So let's do it right now, quick. So when the apple is eaten, it's somewhere around here. It's here. The apple is eaten, it grows by 1. I want to play the eating sound. Here I'm playing it multi-channel. And okay, that's it for so I'm playing the sound apple. Then, what else? The crash, okay? When it dies, here the snake is dead. I'm playing the crash. And finally, what do I miss? Yes, the turning sound, of course. The turning sound. Here, when I turn, I want to have my swoosh. Here it is. And when I turn right, I want the same swoosh. And guys, that is it for these sound effects. Let's play the snake. Listen to that. The apple, the swoosh. I love this game. See, now it's really alive. You really feel like moving a snake, eating apples. A lot of fun. And now I'm gonna die. crashing sound. Very nice. And finally, I wanted to do some two little tweaks. I'm going to do that right now. The first one is a very ugly one. Yeah. Yes, I'm not very proud of this one. Where is it? The snake is dead. The snake is dead. It's here after the init. No, right before the init. I just want to add a very ugly delay so that you have a little pause in your game when you're dead, just to refresh your brain. See? Okay, when you die, sound 2 seconds, and then you start the next game. It's not very useful, but we'll see next to add some menus and stuff. And okay, so whatever, a 2 second delay. Another thing is, look at that, we can see the mouse here, okay? And okay, here it's not very disturbing because it's outside of the board, but if I move it here, I can be, okay, kind of annoyed by the mouse cursor being right here in the middle of my screen. I don't want to grab my mouse, I'm going to lose my game, and I don't want that, so I want to make this mouse cursor disappear when the game starts. Let's do that. One line of code, well, actually 3 lines of code. Right after creating the window here, just here after the resize window, I'm going to add a little piece of compiler if. So this show cursor underscore is directly a procedure of the Win32 API. You can just call show cursor false, it will hide the cursor, the mouse cursor. But it works only on Windows, so I need to add this compiler if PBOS Windows. And that's it. Just like that, look, when I start the game, the mouse cursor has disappeared from my screen. Let's try it again. I'm going to put it in the middle of my screen. It should be in the center, and when I start, no cursor anymore, it's hidden. And when the program stops, of course, the cursor reappears just where it was. I forgot to add some options. Initially, in the first code I've written, I added the option to turn off and on the music and the sound effects. It's pretty, you'll see the code is very simple, but very practical. And also I forgot something else. Ah, damn. So keyboard pushed right here. I want to add this piece of code. So if I'm pushing or releasing the F key for FX, I want to turn the sound effects volume to 0. So to do that, I'm just doing 100 minus sound effects. Okay, sound effects equals 100 minus sound effects. If the sound effects was 100, it turns to 0. If I hit the F key again, if it was 0, now the sound effects is 100. And same thing for the M key. When I press the M key, I want to switch on and off the music, so I'm computing the music volume the same way, but here in that case I need to call the sound volume procedure command, sound volume, which sound I want to change the volume and which volume. Okay, so because the music is always playing, if you want to hit, you need to call this to change the volume kind of live. And for the sound effects it's not the same because they're all very short, so I didn't want to do that. I could, but I didn't want to do that. And that's it. Let's try now. Let's try those shortcuts. So I still have one more to do. Which one? You need to call also keyboard. That's the one. I forgot this one. Okay. So sorry, it's a little bit messy, but I have a I have a French keyboard. Okay, it's an AZERTY, not a QWERTY keyboard, and the M key is actually not at the same position. To make it work with the French keyboard by pushing the actual M key, you need to call first this guy KeyboardMode. It's with passing the value keyboard international. KeyboardMode, if we look at the documentation on that, changes the current behavior of the keyboard. This function affects keyboard push and keyboard release. Keyboard international, the keyboard uses the default language layout to map the keys. Can be useful for non-QWERTY keyboards, and that's actually my case. So KeyboardMode international, and then we can try. Once again, nice music. I want to turn it off. I have my sound effects. I will turn my sound effects off. No swoosh, no apple, no dying sound, no sound effects. Now I want to turn them off, on again, and the music. Voila, real options. So maybe I can put somewhere on the left or the right the shortcuts. MF to change the music and the sound effects. Very nice. That is it for the Snake. Now it's way much more fun to play. It's way much more difficult because the board is much smaller. Check it out, it's nice. Next, I want to do some menus. I want to display the score. So we'll have maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 more videos on the Snake and we'll be done. Don't forget to check out the merchandising. Look at that, very nice apparel, right? Very nice t-shirt. You can get one yourself. Check out the link in the description. Check out my blog. Check out the Facebook page. Spread the good news about PureBasic. It's a terrific language. I will try to keep up with the work, try to contribute and give you some videos like this. I enjoy doing them. Thank you all for your support. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you very soon.